He fed the lonely dragon Hatchling. Every day, never knowing their father was the galaxy's most feared king. The settlement on Arcturus Prime wasn't much to look at, a collection of prefabricated domes and mining equipment scattered across rust-colored hills. But to Jonah Chen, it was home. He'd been working the lithium extraction sites for 3 years, sending credits back to Earth for his younger sister's education. That's when he found her. The creature was no bigger than a house cat, huddled behind a stack of supply crates near the eastern perimeter. Her scales shimmered like obsidian in the pale light of Arcturus Prime's twin suns, and her eyes, deep amber pools, watched him with an intelligence that made his breath catch. "Hey there, little one," Jonah whispered, crouching low. "Where'd you come from?" The creature chirped, a sound like wind chimes made of glass. She was trembling, clearly starving. Against every regulation in the colonial handbook, Jonah pulled a protein bar from his pack and offered it. She devoured it in seconds. From that day forward, Jonah visited the hatchling every evening after his shift. He named her Elena after his grandmother. Elena grew quickly. Within a month, she was the size of a large dog, her wings unfurling with membranes that caught starlight like stained glass. "You're getting too big to hide," Jonah laughed one evening, scratching behind the ridge of her horns. Elena rumbled contentedly, smoke curling from her nostrils. The other miners had noticed, of course. Most gave Jonah a wide berth, muttering about the foolishness of befriending alien wildlife. But Jonah didn't care. Elena was lonely, abandoned. And he understood that feeling more than he'd like to admit. What Jonah didn't know was that halfway across the galaxy, something was stirring. Lord Drakor, supreme sovereign of the Draconian Empire, terror of 1,000 worlds, sat upon his throne of fused starship hulls and listened to his generals squabble. His obsidian scales, each the size of a human torso, reflected the holographic displays that filled his war chamber. "My lord," General Vexnar hissed, "our scouts have searched 300 systems. There is no trace of the princess." Drakor's tail lashed, splitting a support column. "Then search 300 more. My daughter is out there, lost and vulnerable. I will burn galaxies if necessary." The loss of his hatchling had occurred during an ambush by the Klaxian Federation. In the chaos, the escape pod containing Princess Ilara had been jettisoned into a random jump corridor. For months, Drakor's armada had been searching, leaving scorched worlds and surrendering fleets in its wake. Humans had heard the stories. Everyone had. The Draconian Empire was ruthless, unstoppable. When Drakor wanted something, civilizations fell. But no one on Arcturus Prime connected the terrifying Emperor to the sweet creature Jonah fed every evening. Elena was now the size of a shuttle, her wings spanning 30 feet. Jonah had convinced the colony administrator to let her stay by demonstrating her usefulness. She could melt through ore deposits with surgical precision, tripling their output. "Good girl," Jonah praised, running his hand along her snout. Elena's purr sounded like distant thunder. That's when the sky caught fire. Massive dreadnoughts materialized in orbit, their hulls decorated with the unmistakable insignia of the Draconian Empire. Warning sirens blared across the colony as every miner scrambled for shelter. Jonah's blood ran cold. "Elena, we need to hide you!" But Elena was staring at the sky, her entire body trembling. She released a cry, not the playful chirps Jonah knew, but a deep, resonant call that shook the ground. From the largest dreadnought, an answering roar echoed. The colony's communication system crackled to life. A voice like grinding stone and molten metal filled every speaker. "This is Lord Drakor. You harbor my daughter. Surrender her immediately or your world burns." Jonah's mind reeled. Daughter? This was a Draconian princess? Elena, no, Ilara, nudged him gently with her massive head, her eyes apologetic. Before Jonah could process what was happening, Landing craft descended. Draconian soldiers, each standing 12 feet tall in ornate armor, surrounded the perimeter. And then he arrived. Lord Dracor descended from the sky like a falling meteor, his wings blotting out the suns. He was enormous, a mountain of scales, claws, and barely contained fury. His eyes swept the colony, and every human present felt the weight of extinction in that gaze. Until those eyes found Alara. The terrifying Emperor's demeanor shattered. "Daughter," he breathed, his voice cracking with emotion. Alara bounded forward, and for a moment the galaxy's most feared tyrant was just a father, reunited with his lost child. They entwined necks, making sounds of relief and joy. Then Dracor's gaze shifted to Jonah. The human froze as the massive dragon approached, each step causing tremors. This was it. He'd harbored the princess without knowing. Surely that was a crime punishable by incineration. Dracor lowered his enormous head until one eye was level with Jonah. The human could see his reflection in that molten gold iris. "You fed her," Dracor rumbled. It wasn't a question. Jonah's voice caught. Yes. She was hungry, alone. You protected her, cared for her when she was vulnerable. I didn't know who she was. She needed help." Silence stretched. Then Dracor did something no one had ever witnessed. He bowed his head to a human. "The Draconian Empire is in your debt, Jonah Chen of Earth. Name your price." Jonah thought of his sister, of the colony, of all the worlds that lived in fear of this empire. "Peace," he said quietly. "Just peace. Stop burning worlds." "Your daughter taught me that even the most fearsome creatures can be gentle. Maybe that's a lesson worth remembering." Dracor stared at him for a long moment. Then, incredibly, he laughed, a sound like avalanches. "Humans," he mused. "Such audacity. Very well, Jonah Chen. You have given me back what I thought lost forever. I will give you what you ask." He straightened to his full height. "Let it be known across all systems. Humanity is under draconian protection. And this colony—" He glanced at the terrified miners emerging from their shelters. "Will want for nothing." As Dracor's fleet prepared to depart, Alara nuzzled Jonah one final time. "Take care of yourself, Elena," he whispered. She chirped, that same sound from when they first met, and Jonah smiled through tears. Sometimes the most powerful bonds form in the simplest moments. A lonely human feeding a lonely dragon, neither knowing that their friendship would reshape the galaxy. But perhaps that's what humanity did best. See the individual, not the empire. See the hatchling, not the princess. See the person behind the fear,